have a few tips for us all today, just to keep your marriage happy and healthy. Husbands, every day, go out of your way to do something nice for your wives, something that shows you thought about her, even if it's small. And wives, every day you need to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Why?
Now, I know what you're thinking here, wives. You were like, Revelation 21:8, all liars shall have their part in the lake that burns with fire and brimstone. And this is the problem for me at my house, because my husband's like, you'll never admit you're wrong. And I'm like, I can't admit to something that isn't true. This is like the McCarthy trials. Where are we, Salem? So I've ended that argument at my house, because this is what I do. Every day, I go out of my way to do something wrong. Now, women, this isn't that hard to do. You can just, burn breakfast, call his mother a name, have him look for your keys that are already in your pocket the whole time. Then afterwards, you can honestly say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Now, this is really important, because for men, hearing those 3 little words, I was wrong, is a lot like for women hearing, I love you. You're beautiful. There's a clearance sale at Macy's, and here's $1,000. Sure, you'd like to hear it. You even believe you deserve to hear it. You're just pretty sure you're never going to hear it. Sometimes I just leave notes around the house that say, Ryan, sorry, love Amy. And it's amazing to see the way this really delights and confuses him. It's kind of like if you gave a baby ice cream. He knows it's wonderful, he's just not sure why. Now, don't take me wrong, I'm not trying to say that men are babies, because I hate when women do that, when they're like, oh, yeah, I have 3 kids, my son, my daughter, and my husband. I'm just like, women, do you hear yourselves? Do you honestly want to give yourself credit for raising your husband? Because if he's your kid, that makes you your mother-in-law. Just saying. Yeah, so I have to admit, there's one more thing. I almost let the men off the hook too easy. Men, there's a thing you can do, and it's going to be just as hard for you as it was for your woman to say I was wrong. Every day, on the way home from work, you need to think of a feeling you had that day that you could share with your wife. And I know you're thinking, but I didn't have any feelings today. That's fine. Just try to think of a feeling you've heard someone else mention. Like the girl in the cube next to you at work that always talks loudly about her personal life. I'm sure she's mentioned a few feelings. Just steal one of those, it doesn't matter what. And if you're really having a hard time, you can use one of my few catch-alls, like, darling, I'm really feeling nostalgic about our early dating relationship. That one works every time. Or you can try, honey, I feel so fulfilled when I spend time with you. Now, try to avoid phrases like, babe, I feel like a sandwich. Do you feel like making one for me? Or, honey, I've been feeling like maybe your clearance shopping is getting a little out of hand. What made you feel like we needed to own 8 $3 candy bowls? Avoid those. And since we're talking about clearance shopping again, because I just always get back to that shopping, it's important, I have to let you know that clearance shopping can backfire on you. For instance, 3 months after my son turned 3 years old, there were these pirate costumes on sale for $1.99. So being the master shopper and toddler manipulator that I am, I whipped those things up, I bought them quick, and I convinced my son that his heart's desire was to have a pirate birthday party. And now, just 6 short months later, pirates have attacked a U.S. ship for the first time in over 100 years. So, yeah, now I'm thinking the pirate theme might not have been such a good idea. Feels a little bit like saying, hey, Tommy, would you rather have the theme for your birthday party be POW encampment or gang riots? Because I got a really good deal on bandanas, and they could work as either blindfolds or do-rags. What I think I'm really mourning the most, though, about the whole pirate attack thing is it's the loss of our last great campy villain. I mean, I don't really know who else is safe to make fun of. It's not like corporate embezzlers have a catchphrase. I'm gonna miss our jokes and talk like a pirate day. That's a big bummer, but I have thought about it, and I think I have a good replacement campy villain. And that is, drum roll please. Oh, good job. That is a real drum roll. Awesome. That's going to be Dr. Claw. Do you remember him from Inspector Gadget? Yeah, it works out pretty well because I did some research, and I'm fairly sure there have been no Dr. Claw-related attacks on American citizens in at least over 100 years. Plus, he has a claw, which is a lot like a hook, so almost as good as a pirate. And this actually got me to thinking that if I ever run a charitable organization, I think my goal will be to ensure quality prosthetic devices for amputees. Because if campy villains have taught us anything, it's that subpar prosthetic devices lead to an uprise in villainy. You do not want that. Yeah, I've cut back on the clearance shopping though, because it irritates my husband and makes our house all cluttered, and I try to be a good wife, like I said. But I have to tell you, I am not a great homemaker. I think the problem is that I just lack that attention to detail. I'm gonna blame this on the self-help series, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Maybe took that one a little too seriously, as well as the second book, It's All Small Stuff, which I really liked. But, you know, just try telling your husband, oh, it's all small stuff, when he comes home and says, honey, what's the children, why are they covered in chocolate? And I say, oh, I told him to just take one. Turns out toddlers are terrible self-regulators. Who knew? Guess that's why Hershey quit hiring them a long time ago. You never see them running Fortune 500 companies. But yeah, with Hershey, they just kept insisting on quality control testing all of the chocolate, till half of them were sick in the corner crying, and the potty breaks were terrible because they'd tell you they needed to go, and you'd be like, well, 10 minutes ago you were on a potty break. Then they'd just go wherever they were standing. It was horrible for production. I think maybe I am too laid back of a parent, though, besides just the chocolate incident, because sometimes I will tell my friends, oh man, it is just getting so much easier. I have my third baby, no problem at all, so easy. I think I'm just not stressed about anything anymore, so I'll probably just keep having kids. And then they get this look of horror on their face that I just can't even quite describe to you. So I guess I'm gonna have to hone in on those details, just a smidge. It actually comes to play even in like housekeeping, because I try to clean my house, but it's like dust is invisible to me. So there are times when I feel like I've done a really good job, and I'm waiting for my husband to come home, and I'm beaming from ear to ear because I can't wait for him to compliment me on the beautiful home I have created for us. And instead I just get the deep sigh. Yeah, that is not good to hear when you think that you should be proud of yourself. So I have a new system. I've got a little barometer. Now, sometimes when my husband comes home, I say, hey, honey, a hobo cleaned our home today. And he's like, that is bizarre. A hobo cleaned our home? I'm like, mm-hmm. He says, well, it looks really great. And I said, just kidding, I cleaned our home. And this works with anything, because like I told my friends a few days ago, hey, look at this painting that a hobo painted. And they're like, really? A hobo painted that painting? Because that is incredible. And I'm like, not really, I painted that incredible painting. And then there was the one time that I was like, honey, I paid a hobo to wash your car today. And he was like, really? Because they did a terrible job. That's right. It is terrible. Lousy hobos. Now, I know some of you are trying not to laugh too hard at that one because you think it's insensitive of me to be joking about hobos. And I understand, because you think that term's derogatory, but let me tell you, I respect hobos, because homeless people, let's face it, with a downturned economy, any of us could be homeless. It just takes one paycheck or a medical bill, but most people quit on being homeless. They just get the help up they need, they go back, they get a job, they eventually have a house, but not hobos. They have decided to commit to that lifestyle. They are in it to win it with being homeless. And honestly, how I picked up on that is that my little sister loves homeless people so much. I've never seen anything like it. It's actually amazing. You really see Jesus' love for people, the way that she will embrace and talk to and know homeless people. And you could drop her off in the middle of a brand new city, and within 3 weeks, she would easily know the name of every homeless person downtown. It's just that she would refer to them all as hobos. And she honestly doesn't even think this is derogatory. You can tell because she'll say it to them. And it's just, even a couple months ago, she called me up, and she was so excited she could barely talk. And she said, Amy, I got to pray for a hobo today. And I know we're all kind of laughing, but that's not even really a joke. That's just how she is. That's what she's like. That's how I started calling people hobos. So there's one thing, though, I have to tell you that I've learned doing the whole stand-up comedy thing, is that you really have to watch when and where you practice your comedy material, because now I have a 3-year-old who thinks it's absolutely hilarious to shake his fist at people and say, lousy hobo. And And I shouldn't have just told you all that, because now the next time you see him, you're gonna ask him to say lousy hobo, and then you'll laugh, and he'll get all encouraged. And that's fine, but I'm calling each and every one of you when I get called into my kid's preschool because he showed up covered in chocolate, dressed like a pirate, and calling people a lousy hobo. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.